Good evening, Gulf Coast, and thanks for joining us. I'm Taylor Rubach. The family of Travis Martin feels a sense of justice today after the two-day murder trial of DeAndre Ball ended with a guilty verdict.
Police are saying that Clint Brower and Micah Harrington were involved in an altercation, and that's when Brower allegedly pulled out a knife and started stabbing Harrington to death. Reiterate that real quick. Brantley said he got glass in his eye because of the storms, the heavy winds and rains. They damaged our news car. They shattered our windows from the flying debris. Please stay inside. And what's not framed on the wall are weapons from Biloxi's most notorious crime story, the Sherry murders. An interesting case. Burrs worked for 3 days straight, never recovering the murder weapons. An arrest was made this morning in connection with the Sunday night killing of Biloxi police officer Robert McKeithen. Or some suggest a look before you lock technique. Get in the habit of always opening the back door of your car to check the back seat before you leave your vehicle to make sure no child is left behind.
Clothing soaked in blood and skin now covered in wounds, something that Van Cleve resident Justin McMillan was not expecting to begin his day.
Grabbed this hand and pretty hard. He didn't want to let go, and that was when they just all three just started coming at me and biting my hands. And so I stood up because I knew I didn't want to be ground level with them.
It was just like any other day. Justin McMillan was leaving his home to begin his morning jog. That is until he became a victim in a vicious dog attack. Jogging his normal route on Page Bayou Road, McMillan knew of the house that had Pitbull breeds, but was never put in harm's way. He tells News 25 the dogs somehow managed to always get through the gate, but were usually friendly.
They were always, somewhat aggressive, but they came around pretty quickly. Today, they didn't come around at all. And when Big Boy got out there, I don't think I've seen that dog before. It all ratcheted up.
As he was screaming for help, a neighbor came to his rescue and called 911. Now McMillan suffers from severe bite wounds and has 9 stitches in his hands and leg.
It could have been a lot worse. I'm really thankful that lady came out when she did, because she was the only one that came out before PD got there, and she's the one who called PD because I couldn't, because I had blood all over my hands.
As for the owner, Wade Sistrunk will be charged with 3 counts of violation of county leash laws, and the dogs are at a possibility of being put down. And as for McMillan, he says from now on, he will carry protection with him at all times. Reporting in Van Cleve, Taylor Rubach, News 25. It all started with a pipe wrench.
Well, he took this wrench and beat her to death with it.
Biloxi's founder and former crime department head Robert Burris created this wall of death back in 1986. And within just a few short years, Burris flooded the wall with over 30 different objects from different crime scenes.
So to create this board, so to show our police officers what goes on the street out there, and explain to them the difficulty of putting these things together with fingerprints or whatever to bring a case to closure.
And after signing off on them, Burris was able to keep an object from each crime scene, collecting dozens of guns, a shoe, even a pipe bomb, each telling a compelling story. But what's not framed on the wall are the weapons from Biloxi's notorious crime story, the Sherry murders. An interesting case. Burris worked for 3 days straight, never recovering the murder weapons.
That whole case from start to finish, as far as crime scene work goes, it was very intense. FBI come in, of course, and helped us out, and we never let down on that case. I don't care what other people say. We never let up on it until it was done with.
Burris retired from the crime department in 2006 and came back 4 years ago as the chaplain, and is still continuing to build a 50-year legacy.
He has done so much, and he's seen the history of the city of Biloxi and how it's changed. But he has seen policing in the old school, he's seen as it modernized, and he's still here today. He has combined policing, 50 years of policing experience.
And not even a current battle with leukemia is keeping Burris from living out his passion.
The way I feel about it, the Lord put me in this position to do this work, and I learned from it. So I can't say, I'm real good at this or that or the other, because without him I'd be nothing. And I give him the credit for everything I did. It was good.
You could be running into the store for just a few minutes, but those minutes could be the last of your child's life.
As the temperatures begin to rise, law enforcement is urging families to never leave children inside a locked car unattended.
On average in the U.S., there's 37 deaths a year of children in vehicles, about one every 9 days. So it's obviously something that takes place. It's an issue. People really need to make sure that they just slow down and make sure they check their vehicles, and just, it's not worth that 1 or 2 seconds here or there.
A few techniques you can start getting in the habit of is either placing your shoe in the back seat or even placing your cell phone. Or some suggest a look before you lock technique. Get in the habit of always opening the back door of your car to check the back seat before you leave your vehicle to make sure no child is left behind. James Carver with American Medical Response is all too familiar with hot car deaths and says this tragedy happens every year.
Going into a restaurant or something like that, or fast food, go through the drive-through. Should be never any reason to leave your kid in the car. Just running a quick errand inside. Take them inside with you. Don't leave them unattended in a car for any length of time at all. But if you do happen to see a child or even a pet unattended in a hot locked car, the first thing to do is call 911. Get everybody en route. Ambulance, fire department, police department. Get them en route and seek permission to see if you can break that window. Try to get that kid out of that hot environment. In Harrison County, Taylor Rubach, News 25.